Ask yourself, have you used all of the voices that are inside of you? Are you just being one version of yourself that's not your whole self? There are different voices in all of us. And welcome back to another episode of It Takes Grit. First of all, I just want to say how appreciative I am of all of you who have supported and encouraged me on this journey to creating the podcast. I've got some exciting news that I'm going to share with you. I'm tapping something here because I'm going to show you in just a second. And if you're listening in, I'm going to describe exactly what I have in my hand. And today we're going to be talking about how to ask for what you want. And I feel like sometimes we get into these situations where we aren't actually happy and we're not where we want to be, and we are too scared to just raise our hand and maybe really just share how we feel in that moment and the things that we need in that moment of time. And so I'm going to tell you guys today how you can ask for exactly what you want. Before we get started, make sure that you go on over to all the places that we can listen to on this podcast now. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube. I mean, we're on the whole thing. So leave a review, as honestly, it means so much to me when we read the reviews, when we see the feedback, and we know that this podcast is changing people's lives. And we know that we're changing a couple of people's lives because in my hand right now, I'm very proud of us, the team, and this incredible community, because we have been awarded the School of Greatness Impact Award. Oh, this was so incredible. I went to the Lewis House Summit of Greatness in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, in September. And I'm part of his mastermind, and they give out 3 awards, one for legacy, one for heart, and one for impact. And I was absolutely blown away that I was awarded this amazing trophy award, but really it's for you guys. We are making a difference in the world. We are making an impact. And if it wasn't for you and the support that I get from every single one of you every day, this would not have happened. So I'm so grateful. Go us for winning the Impact Award, and you really are part of this collaboration. You're part of making the difference, and I'm just jazzed up. I'm just jazzed up about it. So thank you so much. And of course, we will be going on tour next year. Yes, in the fall of 2020, the book It Takes Grit is coming out in August. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm almost finished handing everything in to my publishers, and I'm just getting more excited, and I want to write more stuff, and it's going to be amazing. And then meeting you people on the tour, it's going to be a whole other level. Whew, okay, let's take a big deep breath together. Let's inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth, and give ourselves a smile, a little bit of love for the day. So how to ask for what you want. Some of you might be really good at this. I am not great at this. I find it very difficult to ask other people for stuff. And then I get irritated and irrational and highly strung because I haven't asked people for what I directly need, and they're giving me something that I don't want, or I don't need, or I'm not getting my needs met. So first of all, we need to take 100% responsibility that if you don't have what you want right now from your career, from people, from friendships, from relationships, it is entirely down to you. Yep, woke you up there. And the next thing is we get a choice. We get a choice of where we decide to put our energy, how we decide to ask for things. And it's not just about asking for what you want, it's how you go about asking for what you want. I really love this. We, at the Summit of Greatness, Leanne Rhymes, who is an amazing singer and now an incredible speaker as well, she talked about using all of your voices. And I really resonated with that because I've been doing YouTube for so long, and I'm this fitness, squeaky clean person who teaches you and motivates you to get through a workout. And I wasn't using my other voice, which is the British sarcasm that swears, that has had a very interesting past with the highs and the lows. And that's why I created this podcast, because I wanted to use a different voice. So today, ask yourself, have you used all of the voices that are inside of you? Are you just being one version of yourself that's not your whole self? There are different voices in all of us, and sometimes we have to use one voice with one group of friends, and we're using one group of voice with a different set of family. You know, we all have those different voices, and it's important to tap into those so that you really become fully you. And at the beginning of this year, the reason I started the podcast was to become even more authentic, was to become even more real, was to become even more like myself. And I feel that tapping in to those different voices has really helped me level up and become more confident in myself, because I'm more aware of who I am, I'm more excited about who I am. And so today, take that opportunity that if you've just been using one of your voices today, let's let another one shine, and that's going to help you in getting what you really want. Because if you are always becoming or always talking as if you are this one person, that's what you're going to attract. So if you're not being 100% authentically you, you are not going to get all the things that you really desire. This one's fun. Don't be attached to the outcome. Have you ever asked a friend to do something for you, or you needed their help and maybe you got rejected? And I feel like this is the biggest thing when it comes to asking for things. You know, sometimes, you know, with my podcast or YouTube, I ask people if they want to be on the YouTube channel and they want to be on the podcast. Now, no one has said no just yet. And I know the reason why. It's because I've stayed in my comfort zone and asked people that I feel would say yes. And so now I get to elevate up and go out into the world and ask people that I think that would say no. Because if you don't ask for what you want, and if you don't ask for what you would like to receive in your life, how on earth are you ever going to get it? So I understand. I struggle with that too. There's people I'm like, oh, I want to ask them so bad to be on this podcast. I want them to be on my Friday Fitness Challenge. You know, I want to be able to call them up, and I'm so scared to ask them because I'm afraid that they're going to say no. And at the end of the day, does it matter if they say no? Not really, not at all. Don't get attached to the outcome. If you are in a relationship and there are certain things that you need, and you go to your partner and you say, hey, these are the specific things. Now, girls, be incredibly specific. Do not say, I want you to be nicer to me. It needs to be, I want you to be nicer to me by doing X, Y, and Z. It has to be specific. And you might go to someone and say, hey, this is what I need. And they might reply to you and say, hey, I just don't have that in my toolkit. I just don't want to do that. I just don't agree with that. And you might find that you get rejected by something that you're asking for because that person is just not able to deliver. And I know this from firsthand with going and asking for things that I specifically need, and knowing that I might get a reply that says, you know what, I just don't know if I'm your person. I just don't know if I can do these things for you. And that's scary. That's uncomfortable. It's like, ugh, icky. You're like, I don't want to ask this person for something because they might reject me. And then you're going to resent them. You're going to resent them because you haven't decided to put your big girl pants on and ask them specifically what it is that you need. And therefore, you're getting irritated with them because they're not giving you what you need, but really it's all because you didn't ask for it. So don't get attached to the outcome. Don't get attached to like what can happen if I ask for what I want. Because if you're not being true and authentic to yourself and you're not getting what you want, what's the point anyway? You're just living somebody else's life. And being afraid or scared of what somebody might say to you, that unfortunately is just part of life. And it's going to help you grow. And more importantly, you're going to get what you want. Because if you're going to speak to somebody about business and they won't give you the time of day, you need to go and find somebody else. That's going to help you elevate up. If you're in a relationship and you are not getting what you need and you go and ask for it and they say no, guess what? That person wasn't your person. They can move away and you can find the person who you were meant to be with. Right? So it's going to be a great thing as long as you don't get attached to the outcome. Right. How you say things. I have learned this a lot over the last couple of years. I feel like I've learned so many things about so many different topics, but really it's how you speak to people, and I'm still working on this. Sometimes my reactions are too quick. I'm definitely much better than I am. And it was interesting because I saw somebody at the event the other day who was texting somebody. They were obviously texting their boyfriend, and we were listening to one of the speakers, and they were saying, you know, ask for what you want if you're in this relationship. And I could see how much she was attacking her partner, because she was saying, I'm in this amazing seminar and you never step up, you never do this. And it's like, it was like, I wanted to reach over and be like, girl, stop texting that. That is not going to get you anywhere. Because if you tell someone, you need to change, like you need to give me this, like you're not giving me this, it's getting them to go into a defense mechanism. And their walls are going to go up, and you're going to be like, oh, you. It's not about them, remember, because it's not what they need to do. It's actually what you need. And if they are willing to do the things and change and grow in order for you to be able to have the things that you need, right? So instead of saying, you need to do this, say, I am feeling a little bit disconnected. Some things that help me feel more connected are X, Y, and Z. I would love it if you did this a little bit more. I would love it if you did this a little bit less. So it always starts with I. I feel a little bit sad when this situation happens. Instead of saying, you made me feel sad, you made me feel upset. And you will see such a difference in your communication between two people by the way that you speak to one another. I still, when I get irrational, when I get irate and I'm getting fired up because maybe I haven't talked about my emotions or talked about how I really feel, I can sometimes snap. We're all human. I get that. And I've also learned how to control and how to really message somebody. And text message, by the way, is not the way to go about it. You can say one or two things in a text and then like leave it. It needs to be done. If you really have something long to say, write it down, write it in a letter, write it in an email, and then have a conversation about it. And it really is the way that you say it. It's about not attacking the person and finding out how you can get what you need with the other person being excited about it and not feel like they're not enough because they're not doing enough. It's not that. It's just that your needs are going to be different to their needs. And as long as you ask for it in the right way and you are doing it in coming from a place of love because you want to build your relationship stronger, it's going to go down so much better. So test that out and let me know how it goes. And I kind of touched upon this, but be specific with what you need. Like, be really specific with, if you're going to a business mentor and you're like, hey, I just need help growing my business. Well, what exactly is it that you need help with? If you're going to a friend and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm just really struggling right now. Okay, what exactly are you struggling with so people can give you the advice that you need and that you are not getting advice that you might not need? So being specific in what you are asking for is definitely going to save you a bunch of time. It's going to save the person that you're talking to a bunch of time. And ultimately, it's going to get you what you want, because this is what we're doing. We're asking for what we want. Be true always to who you are. Be true to what you really want inside. If there is something that is burning so deep inside and that's something that you're craving, that you want, own it. Own it and say, you know what, this is what I want. This is the type of relationship that I want. This is the friendship group that I want to be part of. So be completely honest and authentic with yourself about what it is that you want. What are the goals that you have for next year? Like, who is going to be your circle of influence? Who is going to be your partner? Who are you going to spend time with? Which family members are you going to spend more time with? Be really honest with yourself about what you want. Because if you don't know what you truly want, you're going to go out and ask for things. And even if you're not even going to ask for things, things are just going to happen and appear on your lap. And you're going to be like, I didn't even ask for this. Why have I got this? I haven't even asked for it. And it's because you're not being 100% true to yourself and what you want. So you're attracting a whole complicated mess of things into your life rather than actually you getting what you want because you really know who you are. And there's no wrong or right with what you want and with who you are. That's the magic thing about life, is that there is nobody else like you. There's no one with your fingerprint. There's no one with your eye print. There's no one with the same heartbeat as you. Isn't that wild? So being authentically you is going to help you get what you want because you're not reaching out and you're not getting things that don't even align with you. Give to others before you receive. So if you really want something, or if you're going out into asking a favor for somebody, go up and do something for them first. So I don't go up and say, hey, like, can I be on your podcast? Can I do this? Like, if I want to be on somebody's podcast, or if I want to be, in someone's circle of influence, or if I want to be part of, that event, I make sure that I go in and add value first and invite that person into my circle originally. So giving back value to the person before you even go in and ask for something is going to make such a difference. And you're going to feel better about it too. If you are feeling uncomfortable, you're like, I got to go in for the ask. I'm not really sure, like, if I want to do this, like, I feel uncomfortable asking. Reach out to them and see if there's anything that you can do for them first. Or just do it for them. If you've got a friend and you're like, you know what, I really need their help with something, go around and bake them some cookies or take them out for dinner or do something first to add value to that other person. One, it's a nice intro and gesture. Two, you're not going to feel so icky and uncomfortable about asking them for your favor. And number three, they're more likely to say yes. And do it from a place of authenticity. I cannot stand people who go and give just to get something back. You will be seen right through. You will be caught out real quickly, and it's not going to come from a place of love, and eventually that's going to wear off. So if you want something, generally do something for somebody else first that you really care about, that you're excited about, that you're passionate about, and that's going to come back to you. Be brave. Oh, I wish that we were all just a little bit braver, or maybe as brave as we were when we were like 5 years old. It's not easy to really admit who you are, who you want to be, and what you want in your life. And when you do, and when you overcome that uncertainty and that unsureness of asking for things, you'll actually be so much happier because it's going to be a weight off your shoulders. So remember this, bravery is going to help get the weight off your shoulders. And once you've said it, and you've said it well, and you've given, and you've articulated, and you've been specific, it's going to feel so much better because it's off your chest. It's released from your shoulders. You know deep down that that's something that you really wanted. You knew deep down that's something that you had to ask for. So once it's done, no matter what the outcome, you were brave and you were honest with yourself in getting what you wanted. Don't ask for something unless it's something that you really want, right? I feel like sometimes in life we're like, oh yeah, I kind of have a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Imagine that you've only got one shot with one person to really ask them what it is that you need. And you'll understand if that one shot is big enough. Now, obviously, we can speak to more people. We can speak to that same person over and over and ask advice. Just make sure, and this goes back to the authenticity. This goes back to like really knowing who you are, because I feel sometimes we ask for things when actually we don't even want it because we're not being true and authentic to ourselves. So before you go and ask for something, really know within yourself, is this something that I really want? Is this something that I'm going to benefit from? Is this something that I can, will change my life? Is this something that is going to take up the person's time for no reason whatsoever? And just waste it. Think about what it is that you really, really want, and don't ask for things that you are not sure about or that you don't want. And if you don't know about that, that goes back to the topic of really being true and authentic to yourself. because you won't ask for things that you don't want if you really know yourself and you're really true to who you are. And the last thing to ask for what you want is to show up. Show up for yourself, show up for other people, show up for your family, for your community. When you show up and you are giving, things are going to come towards you. And half the time you'll be like, I've asked for this in my subconscious. I haven't asked for this like directly up to a person. I am just showing up as my full authentic self. In life, I'm showing up powerfully, I'm showing up with impact, I'm showing up with passion, I'm showing up with authenticity and with integrity, and I'm showing up because I care with generosity. When you show up, the universe is going to reward you for all of the things that you want. It might take a week, it might take a month, it might take a year. Knowing that the first step to getting what you want is showing up for yourself and showing up for other people. Whew, okay. Well, I am so blessed that you guys join me each week for the It Takes Grit podcast. Make sure that you check out the Instagram as well, It Takes Grit podcast. Screenshot us, DM me, all the things that you want to do on social media so that I know that you guys are listening and where you are. I'm just so grateful that we have this opportunity. Once a week, you get to meet some of my friends, you get to get interviews by incredible people, and we're going to be bringing even more things as we go into 2020. Thanks for joining me today, guys. My name is Rebecca Louise, and I will see you next week. Bye.